Welcome everybody to the Seattle Southside Chamber's Public Safety Roundtable meeting. My name is Annie McGrath and I am the President and CEO at the Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of our board and our staff and our ambassadors, I want to thank you all for taking the time to be here with us tonight. We have a very informative evening planned for you. You're going to hear updates from our police chiefs and their representatives from the cities of Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, SeaTac, and Tukwila. And then we're going to welcome Burien's Economic Development Manager, Chris Craig, who will be sharing a presentation on crime prevention through environmental design and strategies to reduce and mitigate criminal behavior in and around your business. As we gather, we respectfully acknowledge that our event is taking place on occupied Coast Salish land and that the Seattle Southside Chamber operates on the homelands of the Duwamish people. We pay respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to their descendants and to all Indigenous people. This copyrighted webinar is presented by the Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chamber. So again, the agenda for tonight is as follows. We're going to hear from our police departments as we welcome the police chiefs and their representatives from the cities of Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, SeaTac, and Tukwila in that order. Then we're going to have some time for Q&A from the audience. And then we'll turn the floor over to Chris Craig, the Economic Development Manager for the City of Burien, for his presentation on crime prevention through environmental design. You're going to have an opportunity to ask Chris questions following his presentation, or you can come back to any unanswered questions that you might have for our law enforcement panel. So with that, let's just get right to it. I'd like to welcome our first speaker of the evening, Burien Police Department Captain Thomas Calabrese.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Thomas Calabrese. I've been with King County Sheriff's Office for the last 24 years and recently transferred to the City of Burien back in April of this year. Chief Bo was unable to attend tonight, so unfortunately you're all stuck with me. Give you an idea of some of the crime trends that we're seeing currently. As the weather's starting to get colder, folks are warming cars up in the morning, and we're seeing quite an uptick in auto thefts. Along with that, car prowls. Our criminals are they're creatures of opportunity. And what we'd love to see people do is not make that opportunity so easy. I understand wanting a warm car when you get out in the morning, but don't leave your keys in that unlocked car and walk away. As far as car prowls go, if you go to the gym, don't leave your purse in the car. If you're going grocery shopping, especially with the holidays coming up, large packages sitting in the front seat, that's an opportunity for one of our suspects to take advantage of that. That's really the big uptick that we've seen in the last couple months. I think the region as a whole is getting plagued with robberies being committed by juveniles, but that's a much grander scale thing than just the City of Burien. Those are the areas where we've seen our huge uptick. And again, as the holidays are getting closer, businesses do everything that you can to make it so it's not as easy for folks to come in and steal from you. Again, we're dealing with folks that like opportunity, make that opportunity as hard as we possibly can for them to succeed.
Great. Thank you, Captain. And I know that we have a presentation later this evening on exactly that, on crime prevention through environmental design and steps that you can take at your business to make it less desirable. I know that we don't want to blame victims here, but there is definitely things that our business community can be doing and should be doing to safeguard their businesses. So we'll hear more about that. And thanks for sticking around, because I know we might have some questions for you later too. All right, so thank you so much. We're going to move on to our next speaker, and this is his debut with us at our roundtable. So I'd like everyone to please give a warm Seattle Southside welcome to the new Chief of Police for the City of Des Moines, Chief Tim Gately. Welcome.
Thanks, Annie. Thank you, everybody. Great to be here. I'm very excited for the opportunity to serve Des Moines. I began my career 24 years ago in 1999 with the Washington State Patrol. And I did my original field training right here in the Valley. So my training experience was in Renton, Kent, Maple Valley, Des Moines, and the area. So it's good to be back. It feels like a homecoming. I was with State Patrol for 5 years, and then I went to Redmond Police, where I spent the last 18 years. I've done every job in the department and had oversight or supervisory responsibility for every major department area. A special shout out to the Valley Chiefs, all of those that are on the call, and my neighboring agencies. I've received a very warm welcome, and it is very refreshing to be part of such a collaborative group that wants to fight crime together, keep people safe, treat everyone with dignity and respect, and really do everything we can in our power to enforce the law in a way that gets results and helps keep our businesses safe. In Des Moines, along Pack Highway is where we see most of our violent crime. We are seeing an uptick all the way from Federal Way, I think, up to SeaTac in armed carjackings. Sometimes it's standalone, and sometimes it's coupled with a burglary or with an armed robbery of a store. I would echo what the Burien said, which is try to prevent opportunities for crime to occur. And really, if the hair stands up on the back of your necks or your employees' necks, call 911 first and ask questions later. Let us get the right people and the right resources there to help you. In our neighborhoods in Des Moines, we are cognizant that the school year has begun and there's a lot more foot traffic from kids. And so speeding and reckless driving is an issue. And we work to combat that with directed emphasis patrols in our traffic unit. So I would just ask that the business community keep in mind the upcoming holiday season, how you prepare for that. And then just when you're out in the neighborhoods, keeping in mind that we, especially with school starting and Halloween coming up, we do have a lot of pedestrian traffic in the neighborhoods. Thank you again for the warm welcome. And thanks, Annie.
Great. Thank you. And welcome again. And thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. And thanks for sticking around for Q&A later too. All right, so we're going to move on. We're moving right along and welcome our next speaker from the city of SeaTac. Please welcome Chief Troy Smithmeyer.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Again, my name's Troy Smithmeyer. I've been with King County for about 23 years, and I've been in the city of SeaTac for the last 3 years or so. Became the chief back in April. And I'm excited to be here. So a couple of things real quick. I'm happy to report, and this is hot off the presses here, at least for third quarter. This is the second quarter in a row that we've actually trended down in all three of our major stats. Crimes against persons, we're down 12%, 3% for crimes against property, and 1% against crimes against society. So we've actually had a pretty good summer, and coming into the fall, crime's actually down for us. So having a good couple of months. Couple of things with the city of SeaTac is we've recently hired a new CSO. Our last CSO moved on to Pierce County, which is our community service officer, moved on to Pierce County back in November. It's been a long run that we've been without our CSO, and it's kind of hurt our outreach. But now that we've got our new CSO, her name is Denise Contreras. Some of you may have already seen her, and I'll kind of get to her main focus here coming up. But we also have a new community engagement officer. For those who knew Detective Gramai, he managed to kind of work his way into a new canine spot in the city of SeaTac. So we have recently added a canine, and it's our first one to the city. And he is in training right now, and he should be deployed sometime around January. It's a lot of training to bring the dog and the handler up to speed. So for those of you who knew Detective Gramai, he's still going to be around, just in a different function. So the first order of business for the city coming up is we have started a business watch program. It is something similar. I think Renton has one, and maybe some other communities in the area have one. Basically, the business watch is a way for our CSO and our community engagement officer to get out in the community, especially in the businesses. We've already got a block watch program, and I'm sure most other cities have one also. But the business watch program concentrates on the businesses And our main focus is communication. We want to kind of build that bridge between not just the police department, but also the businesses themselves, because as we start to move in, like the other chiefs have said, as we start to move into the new season, not only is it good to be vigilant, and, you know, especially in SeaTac, we have a lot of hotels, you know, telling your patrons to make sure they lock up their cars, don't leave anything in there for folks to opportunities for them to break into their cars and steal their stuff. But this is an opportunity for all of the business owners in the city to kind of reach out, connect with each other. We're going to try to bridge that communication piece and bring the community, the business community together. It's going to be a long process, but if you haven't met Denise, and our new CEO, our community engagement officer, is going to be Detective Bisesto. He was with the city a couple of years ago, and he moved on to Maple Valley, and now he's kind of come back home to us. You're going to see them in the next couple of months. Whether you participate in the program or not is completely up to you. There's no obligation for you to do anything. It's really just an opportunity to participate if you want to, and if you don't have to. That's okay. But that's coming. The only thing, and I think that Chief Gately and Captain Calabrese had mentioned, auto thefts are continue to be a problem. I think Olympia is trying to work on those issues. We need some legislative action to give us a hand in that area. We had some legislative help very recently that allowed us to go back to some narcotics enforcement. We still have a diversion part of it, but we also have now a booking part of it that hopefully, you know, that's gonna give us a little bit of an advantage of having some other options here. So working on that part of it. I think that is about it for the city of SeaTac. I look forward to any questions. I've probably rambled on long enough, but I think that's about it. So thanks for having me.
Great. Thank you so much, Chief. And so if somebody was interested in learning more about the new Business Watch program, where would they find that information?
The information is actually on the SeaTac website. And there should be links to that, and it will bring you right to it. So hopefully it will be more than just people looking that up. I hope that CSO Contreras gets out and she actually makes contact. We want to make that first round in person, but absolutely, it is on the website and there are links to it.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then I'll just remind you that we are neighbors. The chamber is located in SeaTac City Hall. And so if Detective Grimay wants to come by with that dog, we're all dog lovers at the chamber too. So we'd love to see him.
Duly noted. I'll let him know.
All right. Thank you. All right. So now for our next chief from the city of Normandy Park, please welcome Chief Yorkowski.
Thank you, Annie, and good evening, everyone. I'm happy to go forth because that means everybody else has covered most of the stuff. But we see a lot of the same things in Normandy Park. For most of you probably know, Normandy Park is primarily residential. We have a very small commercial area, and we don't necessarily have the same frequency of things that some of our neighbors have, but we see a lot of the same things. So I'm just going to touch on some of the things that some of the earlier speakers mentioned. The stolen cars is a huge issue because then those stolen cars are used to commit other crimes. As was mentioned earlier, definitely seeing an uptick in juvenile crime. Many of you may have seen the robbery that we had at the Normandy Park Market about a month ago. It actually garnered some national attention just because of the shocking nature of how the clerk was attacked. And that crew is all between 13 and 15 years of age. And, you know, that was a real eye-opening experience for a lot of people in our community because that isn't very common in Normandy Park, thankfully. And I just want to thank all the other chiefs and our surrounding agencies for their assistance, not only with that, but with a lot of things. Being a small agency, we don't always have all the resources that we need to either investigate or to look at certain things. And the willingness and cooperation of our partners to share information and to tackle these problems head on is invaluable for us. And we're happy to partner with each and every one of them.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for being here tonight and for sticking around for Q&A too. I'm sure we'll have some questions for you. All right. And so with that, we are now at our final police chief of the night from the city of Tukwila. Please welcome Chief Eric Drever.
Thank you for having me. Just wanted to, I guess, tag on to what everybody else has been talking about. This truly is a regional effort for most of the things that everyone has been talking about, because all of our communities are so close-knit and so close together. We're seeing crimes committed by the same individuals, and the networking that we do is critical on trying to solve some of those crimes. So do know that in addition to each agency working on their own issues, we are working together, as has already been mentioned, to try and resolve some of the issues that you're seeing for our communities. There were three things, though, I wanted to touch on, two of which are directly related to your businesses, especially for those that are here in Tukwila. And then one thing that relates to our community, and we keep mentioning this time and time again because it resonates so sound, that our businesses are a part of our community. So this third topic I'm going to bring to you, I want you to be aware of, because it's something going on in Tukwila that is impacting so many lives. You will probably see it start to impact your businesses, and we want you to be aware. The first is we've seen an uptick in commercial burglaries that are directly impacting some of your businesses. We are seeing everything from people breaking into back of the business doors, coming through skylights, all the way up to vehicles ramming the front end of a business just to gain access, and then they'll have a secondary car ready to go once they've stolen things from the business. The best way to prevent those types of things is doing everything possible to detract from your business. So if there are extra security measures you can take, lots of lighting, make sure you've got cameras and in-store video to capture information, because that gets back to the sharing of information, because usually they're not just hitting one location, they're usually not just hitting one city, in which case they may go on a spree throughout the night. And we share that information. And if you share information about something that happened to your business, it's possible that we're able to use that to tie information together and be able to file more charges on the individuals, which creates longer sentencing time, as well as just more accountability. It also creates more likelihood of us being able to solve the case. It's also important to make sure that you keep all of your record or your contact information up to date, because we have had a couple of the businesses that have gotten broken into. We make phone calls to try and get some representative from the store, and they're employees that have, haven't worked there for months. So please make sure your contacts are up to date with the city's business, our city clerk's office, as well as with the police department, so that should there be an incident, we have a way of getting a hold of you so that we can remedy it and get the store patched up so that we don't leave it open to other crimes. Some of the things that we're doing to address this, we've put it upon our patrol officers. Right now, we are short-staffed with our specialties for being able to do proactive work, but our patrol crews that work the graveyards, which is when most of this is happening, have come up with ideas on how to address that. So tonight's crew just came from their briefing. They're going to be doing a specific emphasis covering our business district, which is between south of 405 and I-5, east of I-5 there in that block of chain around the mall and all the businesses around there where we've been seeing the uptick. So we actually have officers out there all night. They're going to be focusing specifically on the businesses in that area. We will assess where other businesses are getting hit as we go, but that tends to be our hotspot down there. So we're doing emphasis this evening, and the crew works tomorrow night and Saturday night. They plan on doing the same those nights, which are hot nights for these things to happen. We also have installed as of last year, and it's been a great tool for us, and a lot of other agencies in the region have been utilizing it, are our flock ALPRs, the automatic license plate readers, which give us hits on stolen vehicles. A lot of individuals that are committing these crimes, they steal a vehicle first, and then they'll go out and commit the crime so that they're not doing it in their own vehicle. If the vehicle has been reported, it'll hit when they go by one of these cameras, and we'll get real-time alerts that will help us. The nice thing about that is, especially for our business district, there's very little traffic down there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And what happens is if we get a hit from the flock camera at 3 o'clock in the morning in the business district, and it's a stolen vehicle, odds are that vehicle is about to do something to one of our businesses. So it gives us an alert. It shows us which direction to look in for the vehicle and allows us to be preemptive and maybe stop somebody from doing it before it actually happens. So we're excited that we're able to put these emphasis on this evening and the next couple nights that directly affect our businesses. The second thing I want to talk about is Seattle back in 2015 came up with their Safe Place initiative. I had no idea about it. I just learned about it last year, and I wanted to bring it to Tukwila. And our community engagement coordinator, Brooke Lamothe, has finally been able to get this program to Tukwila and implement it. What it is it's a reporting of hate crimes program. So businesses will put a sticker in their window indicating that they're a safe place to report hate crimes. Originally, it was designed for LGBTQ plus community members, but now it's expanded to include just about any protected class, any status related to age, political association, marital status, gender orientation, religion, color, race, parental status, homelessness, disabilities. The whole point is to target or provide the service and protection for those that are being targeted because of hate. And so the businesses that have these in their window will get training on how to respond and how to make sure they have a safe space for these individuals so that we can address the crime and the individuals that are doing it while at the same time keeping the individuals that are being targeted by hate crimes safe. So what I would like to do before I move on to my last one is, before I forget, I am going to quickly throw that here into the chat. So this is Brooke Lamothe's contact information. If you have a business in Tukwila, you can reach out to her, or if you need to reach me directly, that's my cell phone number. You can call me directly, and you want to be a part of the program, and or you just need to reach out for me for any reason. You now have my contact information. But we'd be glad to talk to you about getting the program up and running in your business. The third topic I wanted to talk about is we currently have declared a state of emergency here in Tukwila for the Riverton Park United Methodist Church. They have over 300 asylees on their location, living in tents, living in conditions really almost the equivalent of living on the street. And we are about to hit cold weather, inclement weather, and a lot of these people are coming from areas where they are not used to any cold, let alone the rain and colder temperatures we're about to hit as we move into the winter. We are working with regional partners in the government to try and provide services, try and provide housing, and we are being successful. However, we're not able to work on it and address and meet all the needs of everyone as fast as they continue to come in. So the church itself has done a fantastic job of trying to meet the needs, but it is way beyond their capacity. It is way beyond Tukwila's capacity. We have reached out to our neighboring governments and the state the county, to see what we can do to try and find other resources to throw at this so that we don't have a population that goes without meat. So if you have any type of resources that you think might be able to help, please get in contact with me and we will see what we can do for the church. These are individuals that once they get their work visas, which takes time, unfortunately, but once they get them, they are going to make incredible contributions to our community by being able to work for businesses such that you own. So as we move forward, if you're interested in helping out, or at least still being informed about what's going on, please feel free to reach out to me. So, and that's all I got for you.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And thank you to all of our chiefs, for your service and also just for your willingness to engage. And you are all incredibly accessible. And we just appreciate so much that you take the time to do this and that you take the time to spend with the business community, answer questions ongoing throughout the year, and that you just make yourselves available. And we truly appreciate it. All right. So with that, I think we're going to switch gears now and welcome from Burien, the Economic Development Manager, Chris Craig, who has been kind enough to join us this evening with some really fantastic information on strategies that you can implement to reduce and mitigate criminal behavior in and around your businesses. So Chris, thank you for being here on a late Thursday evening, and we're going to go ahead and turn the floor over to you now.
Thank you, Annie, for the kind introduction. As Annie said, I'm Chris Craig, Economic Development Manager with the City of Burien. If you're asking why is an Economic Development Manager giving the presentation, we actually got into SEPTED in the last couple of years due to some concerns that the business community had mitigating and responding to an increase in vandalism and break-ins that we saw. That rise in those crimes occurred during COVID, where we had a lot of people that weren't going out as much. Stores and businesses were closed earlier, and Burien PD was awesome, very responsive in responding to those business concerns and working to have more emphasis patrols around areas where these crimes were occurring. But businesses wanted to know how they could help as well. So our Business and Economic Development Partnership, or BEDP, which is an advisory board to council, put it on a work plan to explore potential programs and investments in the city could make to mitigate these issues, including SEPTED. So just a little bit more about that work plan. And so the BDP did want to explore opportunities for the city and for businesses to help Burien PD in mitigating some of those crimes. So they were investigating some SEPTED tools and investments that the city could make towards these ends. So a little bit about crime prevention through environmental design, or SEPTED, is the crime prevention triangle. You need 3 parts for a criminal or a crime to occur. That's desire, ability, and opportunity. And as far as what businesses can do, eliminating the opportunity side of the triangle is perhaps the way where we have the most power to control or mitigate those crimes from occurring. So most of the SEPTED policies or concepts are geared around trying to remove that opportunity. So SEPTED is the proper design and effective use of the built environment to reduce crime and incidents of crime, and I think importantly, fear of crime as well for visitors and shoppers. Its goal is to prevent crime through designing a physical environment that positively influences human behavior. And so folks that might see your store or your business perceive it as safe and welcoming, and criminals see it as a place where they don't want to be, where they may get caught if they commit a crime. So we want to encourage safe behavior and reduce opportunities for crime to occur. And the 5 concepts I'll go over a very high level are the natural surveillance, social management, maintenance, territorial reinforcement, and natural access control. So defining the territory is really marking your territory as a business. And by doing so, you can ensure that an offender may perceive the area as under control, so that someone owns this space. It's not a space that is not watched or taken care of. And this could mean that you make physical improvements to the store. It could mean that you coordinate with your neighbors around branding for your business corridor. Examples might be uniform facades. We've had flags and signs on 153rd and other streets that kind of allow a street to have a uniform facade. Special banners, an emblem of a business watch group or a neighborhood. We've had an expansion of outdoor patio seating as well onto sidewalks and areas. And then cafe lighting as well is another example of something that can just show someone that this space is owned and managed. So on the left here, you'll see obviously it's an alleyway that's very run down. It doesn't have any really windows facing there. It doesn't look like anyone takes care of it or anyone cares about it. You've got a ladder there on the side. It really is an opportunity for someone to go in and explore the space and see what they could get. On the right there, you'll see an alleyway that's very effectively managed. You can see it's taken care of. Folks have eyes on the street. It's clear that people use it often. They've got the street lighting far up above, and then they've got some cafe lighting as well. So you can see the difference between the two is that one looks like there's definitely going to be eyes on you if you're in that area. Now there's different levels of costs, certainly, and I know a lot of business owners are strapped. You're working day and night to pay the bills, and so there's not always a lot of money to do those large scale investments. Here's an example of someone that took maybe a corner restaurant in an alleyway, that cleaned up the alleyway and then did some very small investments in patio furniture and some cafe lighting. And you can see just the difference it makes that someone does own and manage that space. Access control is really about limiting the entrance and exit points to your business using physical features like fence and signage. And that's really to restrict the use of people that may not have great intentions. And so the objective is to increase the effort that an offender may need to expend in committing that offense. So examples might be fencing around a vacant lot, gates on alleys, shrubs under windows that may limit access to them, and removing features that give access to roofs or high windows. People seem to always like overnight to find some fun by jumping up on buildings and doing bad things. So limiting access to those roofs. And here's an example of, again, an alleyway. On the left, that seems like a very interesting place to go explore what's going on down there. On the right, it's clear that you're being told as a visitor that this is a place you're not supposed to go. And again, it's not to eliminate all crime; it's to reduce the amount of opportunities for crime. And so while someone could still jump this gate, most people would say, okay, this is a place that's being watched. It's a place I'm not supposed to be. Natural surveillance is really about making sure that a space is well lit and has eyes on the street from both inside the building or around the building. So you want to encourage that the legitimate users of this space are there, making folks that may not have great intentions feel that they're being watched or uncomfortable, and eliminate hiding spaces for those folks. So examples might be encouraging outdoor events. We've had businesses in Burien do sidewalk sales, do outdoor patio seating, do weekend markets, things like that. Ensure that the windows of the business are clear. They don't have, I know a lot of times there's not enough storage space. You've got storage racks in front of windows. You may have bushes or other trees in front of windows, but it makes it difficult to see out, and so eliminates the eyes on the street. And then lighting, make sure that buildings and blocks are well lit at nighttime. And from we did our BEDP collaborated with both our Burien PD and Washington Retail Association. And at the end of the day, what Burien PD told us was, look, lighting in commercial areas is the #1 place that we should focus some investment and resources from an infrastructure or SEPTED standpoint in order to limit some of the crime that we're seeing, especially on backsides of businesses. An example of this, where on the left, absolutely gorgeous building facade, wonderful plants, but it hides most of the upper level windows and the lower level windows. And then the windows also have a lot of kind of, looks like some lamps and other things in the front that don't allow you to see out very well. On the other side, certainly this is a cafe with some great natural surveillance where you've got folks on the inside, you've got folks on the outside. Probably a lot less likely to be dealing drugs or doing other illegal things in front of that window. Maintenance, kind of the broken window theory, that we want to make sure that we repair, replace, and upkeep general commercial corridors or businesses. This could be public property or private property, so it could be your business, or it could be the sidewalk in front of your business. The more run down an area, the more that criminals may be attracted to it, because again, it doesn't feel like someone's watching, it doesn't feel like someone owns the space. So examples would be keeping the block clean of trash, painting murals over areas that may get a lot of graffiti, which reduces new graffiti, replace lights and maintain landscaping, and also report things to code enforcement. For us, it would be City of Burien code enforcement. It's a complaint-driven system, so we do need to get code enforcement complaints for those to be acted upon. And here's an example from Tacoma. Again, you can just see the difference of some general upkeep in the way that that makes that space feel, and allows folks that are legitimate users of the space to enjoy it, while not having a space where folks that may not have legitimate reasons to be there to hide. And then the last one is social management. This one's really an opportunity to have a SEPTED use, but also just a general community and business development use. And that's to continuing network and meet your neighbors, meet your businesses, organize events in your commercial corridor around your business. And also in the events in the evening hours. We've had in Burien, we have a number of businesses that started programs, including First Friday walks, art walks, other things that get people out and about in the evening hours, especially in the cold winter where we may not have as much eyes in the street. And these are examples from our Burien Town Square. On the left, you've got kind of our general street on a regular day. In the middle, we've got programming for the farmers market each Thursday throughout the year. And then on the right, we have holiday lighting in Town Square in those winter months where it's less clear to people what they should be doing in the park because it is so dark and cold. Lighting allows people to understand, okay, this is a place to walk, take pictures, enjoy with my family. So I'll just close with some things that we're doing in Burien. Again, any Burien businesses, Burien Police Department is awesome. They're always great in sharing their valuable time. And they'll come out and offer free SEPTED consultations to businesses that may want it. I've seen it, the first time I went out with an officer, gave a SEPTED consultation to a business, I left going, okay, well, we'll see if this does anything. So I visited a month later, and it was a gas station that was having a lot of problems with people loitering out in front, which eventually led to an opportunity because people would have conversations. One person would say something to the other, and then they would go in and steal things. And this was infuriating to the business owner. I went back, a month later after the officer kind of said, here's the things you need to do. You need to add lighting on the backside of the store so people aren't gathering there. You need to have more eyes on the street so people know that it's being watched. They did those things. I went back a month later and they were like, it's a 180. It changed everything. It kind of blew my mind and opened my mind to what SEPTED can actually do with some small investments and some attention to making sure that criminals feel uncomfortable. Again, it's not going to eliminate all crime, but the goal is really to limit the opportunities for crime. So always open to that. Our BDP discussed potential options for investment for the city based on consultations from Burien PD and the Washington Retail Association and other. And the focus was really on identifying funding and programs to enhance lighting in commercial areas with elevated criminal activity. Burien PD again and again stressed, it's much easier for them to do their job if things are lit and folks can't hide in backsides of businesses. And then we're also considering potential American Rescue Plan Act or ARPA dollars that are federally funded and as an option to fund improvements in our commercial areas. So really appreciate the opportunity from the chamber to kind of present what we've learned and what we're moving forward with. We've got some other things that we've done, including requiring dumpsters in our downtown to be locked overnight, which we've had our businesses express a lot of support for. We worked with them to pass that legislation. It's been great for them. They've seen a lot of success with it. And so potentially lighting's kind of next on the docket to try to help our businesses mitigate some of the issues that they've seen with vandalism. And just one other nod I'll make in the effort to kind of mitigate that those vandalism issues. We do still have our storefront repair grant program that is open and has funding available. So if you have had a break-in, if you have had a storefront window broken, we have up to $1,000 grants to reimburse those costs to help offset some of the financial hardship for the business. So again, thanks Annie and Sammy, and that concludes the presentation.
Great. Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you for bringing just real, practical actions that businesses can take. And these are businesses of all sizes with all budgets too, that can implement these safety features, at their business, but also really appreciate all of the information about what the City of Burien is doing and the partnerships that businesses have with the city in this area too. And so I would encourage anybody who has a business in Burien and is interested in doing a SEPTED evaluation to reach out. If you are a business in another one of our cities and you're interested what kind of resources are available there, please reach out to the chamber and we can connect you in those cities as well. But thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for sharing. Is there somewhere we can find that presentation if our members would like to take a look at it? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry.
Yes, I will email it to you. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I would just mention that when we Chris spoke to the broken windows theory and repairing things right away. Thank you for that, Chris. I think when we have an issue that is outside of the control of small businesses, especially to take on, for instance, we had a mentally ill subject break storefront glass at more than 10 businesses in just under an hour in Des Moines. That is something that a small business simply can't recover from quickly. So we have to seize those opportunities to come together as a group, find funding to literally fix the broken glass, and help each other out. So I think those are good opportunities to recognize and understand that something might seem like simple vandalism and we might get the suspect in custody, but we still have victim businesses that need to quickly recover to get right back into action.
Great. Thank you for that. That's going to bring us to the end of our program tonight. And I just want to, again, thank all of our presenters for everything that you do in our communities every day, and also for taking the time to be here and engage with us tonight and engage with us throughout the year and being as accessible as you have been. I know that that's been a theme tonight, but we truly do appreciate it. We're a small but mighty community, and at the chamber, we were founded on the principle that together we are stronger, and we certainly feel that with this region and with just how connected you all are and the work that you're doing here in the region and staying in touch. And we appreciate you very much. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here tonight, connecting and convening on the issues impacting our community, and working in collaboration to find solutions is central to our work at the Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce. And we cannot do that without your engagement. And so we thank you all for attending tonight and being a part of this event. And we hope to hear from you soon or see you at another chamber event very soon. So if there's anything that our chamber can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, remember, together we are stronger. And thank you for being here, and good night.